Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or a comment. All right. Today is another installment of the Doctor Spell Prognosis, and we are talking about the first level spell, Sanctuary. Let's get our review of this up here. I'm actually going to give this an A. Um, it it is a clutch spell that can be very effectively used in combat. And we're gonna kind of talk about all those different ways. Okay, so one, it's usable by clerics, artificers, peace domain clerics, which means they get to add it onto their list without having to prepare it. Oath of Devotion, Oath of Redemption, Paladins, and then the Genie Warlock. So it's a wide array of classes. Some of these are martial classes. Some of these are not. And that's one of the big reasons. It's not sorcerers and wizards. There is one warlock that can cast this. But it's a first level spell. It is a bonus action. There is no concentration. That is really super important. No concentration for this. And it lasts for a minute. Now, however, there are some small caveats to that. So it has a range of 30 feet, so the range isn't great, but the classes that are here are ones that could be in combat. So casting this from 30 feet away or like on the battlefield is pretty important. Some of these characters, it's important for them to be close to their targets for this. It does require verbal, somatic, and material components. Like I said, it lasts for a minute. And it has a saving throw of wisdom, which is not the best out of the three mental ones, but any one of the mental ones is a good one because most creatures have a pretty low wisdom, charisma, or intelligence score. Wisdom is usually the highest out of the three. So you ward a creature within range against an attack. Until the spell ends, any creature who targets the warded creature with an attack or harmful spell, so they got to be able to target them, must first make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell. So that's really important. If you've got some really annoying, like sniperish crossbow dude or longbow dude, archer who is pelting your party, and you want to ward somebody until they get up to them to wreck them, then this is a great spell to use. You could put it on a tank in the party so that they can they can't do any damage. There's some caveats to this, so let's get to that. The spell doesn't protect the warded creature from an area effect such as a fireball, okay? If the warded creature makes an attack, casts a spell that affects an enemy, or deals damage to another creature, this spell ends. So the big one is if they deal damage to another creature. So if you have a spell up, now I'm going to say something controversial. If you have a spell up like Spirit Guardians, according to this, if you are warded and Spirit Guardians is up before you cast this spell, then if you deal damage to another creature, any creature at all, it doesn't matter, and Spirit Guardians deals damage, then it's probably going to go down. Now, there are some people that argue against that and some people that argue for that. My interpretation is if you deal any damage to any creature for any reason, the spell is going to end. So that's an important caveat to keep in mind after this spell goes off. But it's a bonus action, so you can cast, you can use an ability to do damage. You can do attacks and then cast this as a bonus action. As you know, paladins can if you got a good damage dealing paladin, you could go in and you could cast this spell. You could get right up in somebody's face. You could attack them, with one or more attacks. This becomes more effective at higher levels because of the number of attacks you can do before you use this bonus action. Then you bonus action this off, and you are essentially protected while you're in something's face. Now, one thing I do want to point out, it's open for all artificers. It's on their list. So, the Armor Artificer doesn't do the best damage in the world, but is a tank and a half. And this thing could go up. It could slam something with its Thunder Gauntlets. So we've got the Thunder Gauntlets here. And that causes the creature to have disadvantage against anything except for the Armor Artificer, and then you can bonus action cast Sanctuary on yourself after you do that. So that target essentially at that point is locked down for a round. They can't attack you, but if they attack something else, they have disadvantage. So there's a lot of ways to kind of manipulate this spell. Another great way or method or use of this spell is if you've got a downed member of the party or someone is close to going down, you can cast Sanctuary on them to kind of protect them until the healer of the party can get up and actually deal with that. So it's a good panic button. When I say panic button, I mean, when you need this, you really, really need it. And when you have it and you need it, it can really turn an entire combat around, and cause the party to be able to actually win an unwinnable combat because of that. So protecting those melee characters in melee is really important, even for a round. Most combats only last like 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds at the most. So you could actually protect something for 30% of the combat, 25% of the combat, which is important. That shuts down an entire, at least one round of a creature or an opponent that you can use this spell on. So just keep in mind, this is a bonus action leveled spell, which means once you cast this, you can't cast another leveled spell. You have to cast a cantrip. And you have to keep in mind that you can't make an attack, you can't cast a spell, and you can't deal damage while this spell is on. But you can do all that stuff before you cast the spell, or you can have a target do all that stuff, and then you cast the spell. After you use your action to cast a spell to do damage or something, and then you cast this as a bonus action. Usually Sanctuary should be one of the last things that you do. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I hope everybody enjoyed, and I will catch everybody later.